So today we're moving into 11.3, which is finding the surface area of pyramids and cones. So remember, we're finding the surface area, meaning all of the area of all the faces that the shape has, everything on the outside of it, and we're finding the area of that and putting it together into a formula, okay? So let's jump into it. All right, so the first thing we're gonna look at is the formula when it comes to finding the surface area of a pyramid. So remember that capital P in this instance means the perimeter of the base. And what you notice here is I have an L. So in our last unit, that was multiplying times the height, but the L in this instance is gonna be known as slant height. So let's go ahead and write that in there. The slant height means the slanted surface. What is that height? So the L is gonna be slant height. So in this instance, if you look at my triangle, this guy right now is gonna end up being my slant height. And then remember, the capital B stands for the area of the base, okay? So now in a cone, we're kind of doing the same concept again, but we're doing, if you look down below, I have a circle as my base. So I gotta find the surface area of that, or actually the circumference of that. And then I'm gonna end up multiplying that times the slant height, which is gonna be L here. And then I'm gonna be adding that to the area of the base here, okay? So let's take these two formulas, let's plug it into our examples, and let's hope this comes out on the good end. All right, so let's go look at example number 1. So it says it wants me to find the surface area of the figure below. So if you look, I have a cone here. So I'm gonna be using that formula in the top right hand of your paper. So to find the surface area of a cone, I'm gonna do a pi times the radius times L, and then I'm going to be adding the area of the base, which is actually going to end up being the area of a circle here in this instance. So let's go and plug in everything I know. So right now my radius is going to be 3. So I'm going to do pi times 3. And it looks like my slant height, if you look, is going to end up being 7.6. Remember, this is my regular height. Remember, the L is the slant height. So I'm going to be multiplying by 7.6. And then I'm going to be adding the area of the base, which is going to end up being a circle. So pi times 3 squared. So I'm going to do the same concept again. I'm going to do everything in terms of pi. So 3 times 7.6 is going to end up giving me 22.8 pi, plus 3 times 3 is 9. And 9 pi plus 22.8 is going to end up giving me 31.8 pi. And so now that's going to be my answer in terms of pi, but if I do 31.8 times pi, that's going to end up giving me 99.90, and that's going to be centimeters squared. So ladies and gentlemen, that is going to end up being my surface area of my cone. So literally all I really needed was my radius and my slant height here to plug into the formula here, okay? Let's look at example number 2. All right, on number 2, it wants me to find the surface area of that figure below. So it looks like this is a cone, so I'm going to be using that same formula. So surface area equals pi r times the slant height plus the area of the base, which is the circle here. Okay, so right now I know my radius, but I don't know my slant height. But if you look, I actually have a right triangle. So if I use Pythagorean Theorem, so 8 squared plus 6 squared equals c squared. 8 times 8 is 64. 6 times 6 is 36. 64 and 36 gives me 100. Take the square root of both sides, so c is going to end up being 10. So that means my slant height is going to be 10. And so now I have everything I need to end up solving for this. So I'm going to have pi times my radius, which is 6, times the slant height, which is 10, plus pi times 6 squared, because that's my radius. So now I'm going to do the math on all this and figure out what my surface area is. 6 times 10 is going to be 60 pi. 6 times 6 is going to be 36 pi. 60 and 36 will end up giving me 96 pi. So again, that would be my answer in terms of pi if it asked for that. Or I could do 96 times pi, and that's going to end up giving me 301.59. And there's no units here, so I'm going to do units squared if there was any type of units there. Okay, because we're doing surface area, which is going to be squared units. Okay, let's jump over example number 3. Okay, so now on number 3 here, it says we need to find the surface area of the figure below. And if you look here, I've been given a triangular prism here. So to find the surface area of that, I'm going to do 1/2 PL plus the area of the base, but in this instance, it's going to end up being a triangle. So I got to find the area of a triangle. So let's go and look at this. So 1/2, it looks like my perimeter here, if this is 14 and this is 18, I'm gonna have to end up finding this side because it's a right triangle. So I'm gonna do 14 squared plus 8 squared, and I'm gonna take the square root of that, which is gonna end up giving me 16.12. Times the height of my figure, which is 17. And then I'm doing 1/2, which is base times height, which is 14 times 18. Okay? And so now I'm gonna end up multiplying this all out, and that should end up giving me my surface area. So I'm gonna do 0.5 times 16.12 times 17 plus 0.5 times 14 times 8. And that's gonna give me a grand total of 193.02. And there's no units on this, so I'm just gonna do units squared, because if there was any type of units, that would end up being it squared, okay? So ladies and gentlemen, this is the surface area of a pyramid, and plug it into your formula, and that's gonna end up giving you that surface area. So the main thing you need to focus on also is finding the area of that base. What specifically is my base? What formula do I put in there? Let's jump over to example number 4. All right, lastly on example number 4, it says find the surface area of the figure below. It looks like I have a square pyramid because I have a square on the bottom. So that means I'm going to use that formula up in the top left-hand corner again. So to find surface area of a pyramid, I'm going to do 1/2 PL plus the area of the base, which in this instance is going to be base times height because it is a square down there, okay? So it looks like the perimeter of my base is 2, 2, 2, and 2, which is going to be a total of 2, 4, 6, 8. So I'm going to do 1/2 of 8. And it looks like my slant height in this instance, if you look, I don't have my slant height yet. So my radius is going to be here. So if you look, half of that is going to be 1. So this is going to be 1 here. So I have to end up finding my slant height here because it's a little tricky. So remember, I got to find my slant height, which is going to be this guy here. So I'm going to use Pythagorean Theorem. So 3 squared plus 1 squared is going to end up giving me 10. I'm going to take the square root of 10. And that's going to give me 3.16. So my slant height is going to be 3.16 plus, and then my base and my height is going to be 2 times 2. Okay? So 1/2 of 8 is going to be 4. So I'm going to do 4 times 3.16. And then I'm going to add 4 to that. And so that's going to end up giving me a grand total of 16.64 centimeters squared is going to be my total area, ladies and gentlemen, okay? So again, I'm not given my slant height, but they gave me my direct height, so I could use Pythagorean Theorem to find that slant height, and that's what I got here to get 3.16. Multiplied it all out, and that gave me my total surface area, okay? So take this information, tie it to your practice, and then also tie it to your skill check. If you're needing any help, please call me over. I can come and help you out. Other than that, good luck. Have a good one.